This lecture is about mining. The United States acquired California from Mexico in 1848, and the following year, gold was discovered in Northern California. And what happened afterwards was a massive gold rush. One nugget would give you 5 or 6 years worth of income for an average American. Huge. And so there's all people rushing over there. The first miners were, of course, individual miners setting out to do the pan mining, or batea. Basically a pan or batea, you take it, you shake it, and the water comes out and the rocks come out, and you can spot the gold in it. Well, there was huge competition for that, easy mining was exhausted pretty quickly. What happened thereafter was basically company mining. It required investment of machinery, damming rivers, using all kinds of methods of water pressure to bring down the whole mountain, and then create a series of sluices where the rocks would go by, and you could sift out, what was the gold nuggets out of this. This involved huge amounts of money and huge profits. The gold mining in California and elsewhere produced vast amount of money that would be used for the capitalization of the industrial growth of the United States. This was just heaven sent, so to speak, and happened by accident. Obviously, it's not heaven sent, but there would be periods of huge value in gold, and the folks who made the money were ended up being the bankers, the merchants and the bankers. Now, there's a huge amount of money. It took a lot of money to make the trip to California, and the merchants made money. Sometimes when you worked in a company of 8 men, it worked better, more profitable. But following the miners was an army of merchants and other folks who made money from the gold miners, supply stores, boarding houses, and restaurants, doctors and lawyers for the claims and so forth, shipping industry. It just spurred this economic growth and development of San Francisco, for example, that went from being a small town to a huge town instantly. Accompanying the mining was a very strong, very, very strong anti-foreign sentiment. The mines are only for Americans. This is what we fought the war for. Tax on foreigners, anti-foreign sentiments, killing of Mexicans and Chinese and others, Latin Americans who came to the gold mines. A tax on them first, and then just driving them out. Along with gold, there was silver strikes in the West as well, and the silver required even more complex mining investments, and all of this meant that just like gold, in order to mine silver, you needed a huge amount of upfront money, which the individual miners didn't have, but which companies did have, and they could build the infrastructure, hire the people to go out and bring out the silver and gold, and so on. And so they're just like we have the silver kings, the gold kings before, now we have the silver kings, where these investors make huge profits from these new discoveries. this pictures gives you some idea as to how vast the mines were and what all of that involved. There was some coinage of silver, and gold, of course, was more abundant and more relied upon. There was gold in other places besides California, and then there's also copper. And so we have a huge mining enterprise out in the West. Just like in California, you have town development with land speculators and stores and churches and railroad building and mining equipment and engineers and so on. This is not the romantic view of the gold miner seeking by himself, individual gold miner, going out and making his fortune. Those things happened, but they were few and far between. It was the big corporate enterprises that had the upfront investment money that really made money from the mining enterprises. And like lumber, the mining in the West involved the investment of capital and management from Chicago and the Northeast, and the West becomes a colony of those huge investment companies. So it's a colony where you take out the raw material, in this case precious metals. Previously it had been cotton and lumber, and now it's metals, precious metals that are taken out of the West for the benefit of other parts of the country. And the West becomes a colony of the investment centers of the Midwest and the Northeast. Thank you.